we're going to have a look at escaping the system and retaining your harness while you do it now. First thing I need to do then is to tie off the belay plate. It's under load, so I'm keeping that hand in the brake position. Take a bite of the rope. And then the half hitches down the back bar, trying to keep it neat. So at that point there I know it's safe, and I know because I can get that third half hitch in, there's enough tail so that when I'm jigging around now there's no danger of this system slipping. So with all emergency techniques, if you like, improvised techniques, it's worth thinking about your ultimate end game. I want to be able to come out of this system with my harness, so to achieve that I need to get this rope directly attached to this anchor, bypassing all of this. I'm going to grab my rescue crab from around the back of my harness, and I'm going to get this prusik ready. It's a golden tip here. Try and avoid putting the prusik on first, because then you have to hold on to it while you're trying to do anything back here. And if this was a smaller stance and a straight down rope going down to my partner, what can happen is if you let go, the prusik shoots off down the rope. So I've just got it ready, just going to pop it over my head like that. And what I'm going to do first is set up a sling at the back here to clip the prusik into, so it's ready to go. So going to go into the power point, pop my sling in there. I've got the stitching out of the way again, don't want that to come back and haunt me. Fab. So that's sort of ready to go. Next then, got a carabiner here. So my French prusik, that's what I'm going to pop on here, because ultimately I'm going to need to release this, so I want a prusik that will slide under load. Going to offset the knot a little bit and then wrap it neatly around the rope. So again, depending on the length of your prusik and the width, the diameter of the cord, you're going to want 4 or 5 wraps around there. There we go. I've sort of got 4.5. Even it off again. I'm going to get a crab into there. And you can see I've used a nice short prusik for this, so I know that it's going to bite. But do that check. Make sure that you've got enough wraps on there before you trust somebody else's life to it. Into there then, we're going to pop the sling. And what I want to do now is shorten that sling. So I'm just going to pop another overhand knot in there. Get that out of the way. Fab. Push that as far away from me as I can. And that just means that with the next stage, which is releasing the belay plate, the person attached to the end of the rope here isn't going to get lowered down the rope an excessive amount. We're trying to keep the rope creep to them at a minimum. Next then, let's release the plate. So remember, the first one I'm not too worried about. Now at this point I'm going to be more mindful. I'm going to get my hand on the rope. That's the brake rope. There. Hold on to that. I'm going to give a shout even if I can't communicate, just so that they hear it, a warning. You might feel a jolt. Now then, prusiks. We need to be quite suspicious of them. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this prusik now as I release the rope and the load transfers onto the prusik. There we go. Yeah, it is definitely biting. That's not slipping. So knowing where to have your attention at what point is really key. Fab. So the belay plate and my figure of 8, although they're attached, they're not under load now. So I'm in a position where I could free myself up and maybe abseil down to them. What I'm going to do next would depend on that next stage, whatever I think it is that I need to do. Leaving somebody hanging on a prusik for any length of time, it's not great. It's just a 5mm bit of cord. So I'm going to safeguard their end of the rope here. It's very quick. I'm just going to use a tied off Italian hitch. So I'm going to grab another carabiner from my harness, get that into the power point. If you're super slick, you might well have got that HMS in before you've popped your prusik in, but there we go, I've got that one in there now. And into there, I want to get the dead rope, so I'm going to tie an Italian. Yes, I'm using sort of 2 hands to do this, but the Casualty does have that prusik as a backup, and you'll notice I am still keeping a hand on the rope here to safeguard it. Now, before you tighten your Italian, again, keeping a hold of that rope so there is a bit of a redundancy in the system. Get rid of the belay plate. Now, rather than pulling the Italian over like that, it'll creep if we do that when we tie it off and then we put it under load. I'm just going to tighten it like I would a clove hitch. So pull down on that. I'm going to get that as tight as I can. Crank that up. Great. And now what I'm going to do is tie off the Italian hitch. 1, 2 is safe, and 3 means the tail's long enough. So at this point I can get rid of the 5mm bit of cord and actually get the Casualty's weight fully onto the belay up here. And that frees up this equipment, because if I'm at the top of quite a long pitch, I might not have much equipment left on my harness, and I might need this to be able to resolve the next step. So this is why we want a French here. There we go. Sometimes they can be a bit stubborn, but should be able to release that. And I can strip all of this out. Now then, I'm out of the system. At the minute I'm still clipped into the belay. I am safe. Depending on what I want to do now would depend on the next steps I'm going to take. This is a really good moment of pause and really think about the plan of action. If I'm going to go down to a Casualty, am I going to come back up? Or if I'm going to go down, are we going to carry on going down? So it's a chance for you just to take a breath and really think through the next stages of the situation and what you need to employ.